Hey guys, we are back and today we're doing something very delicious and exciting, at least to me. Today we're going to be making giant homemade Oreos. So we're going to go on and start with what all of our ingredients actually. We're going to be using a cup of butter here. We're going to be using AP flour, and we're going to be using sugar. So as you see, my husband has already gotten started without prompting. I'm telling you, he's getting good. We're going and putting that sugar and butter in the bowl. We're going to go in and get that creaming really quick. It's going to cream for approximately 2 to 3 minutes. These are cookies, so you don't need to overdo anything, but you do want to make sure it's light and fluffy. It's interesting too because in this recipe, you actually don't need any brown sugar. So these are actually going to be a rolled cookie, and rolled cookies, generally speaking, need all white sugar because it's a hard cookie. It sets hard. Brown sugar is actually what will make your cookies soft. So we don't want any of that in here. So we're going to get that mixing for a good amount of time. And now if you see right here, we're actually going to be using cocoa for this. But you're going to want to use a good quality dark cocoa. As dark as you can get it, the darker the better. You want that cookie to come out nice and dark. And I got something good going on in here. You're going to want to make sure it's pre-sifted as well. You don't want cocoa that is not sifted because what ends up happening is you end up with way more cocoa than you actually need in your recipe if you do not pre-sift. Now generally, I do not pre-sift my AP flour when I'm putting it into my cookie recipes. I find that I don't need to. And also something else you'll see me do, which I know someone's going to question, but I generally do not cream my butter first for any recipe, not even cakes. I found that it's an unnecessary step that I don't need to take. And so generally I won't do it. Now, if you want to do it, my recipe will have the ability for you to change that up if you'd like, but I never pre-cream my butter for any of my recipes. And we're using salted butter. We are not using unsalted. That's something else. I never use unsalted butter. I grew up with my mom making all of her baked goods with salted butter. And so that's what my palate is accustomed to. However, if you would like to adjust it, if you feel it's too salty and you're not a person that likes that, you can always simply substitute unsalted butter. All right, so we got Joe going over here. Everything is looking pretty good. Looks like it's coming along nicely. And of course, as usual, make sure you're scraping down your bowl in between mixing. I'm gonna mix this on medium-low speed to get it creamy nicely. All right, now we have our butter and our sugar beautifully creaming. And we're gonna go on and add to that our eggs. Now, Joe, go on and turn that mixer off. You don't need that mixer on when you put your eggs in. Go on and put that in. So basically, if you leave your mixer going while you're putting your eggs in, it's adding the addition of air. When we have cookies, you do not want air. Air is for cakes. Air is for muffins. It is not for your cookies. So Joe, you can go on and turn that back on.
Gonna be the vanilla?
Yes, and we're gonna go on and add our vanilla as well. We're gonna add our vanilla and our eggs at the exact same time. So you can also, generally speaking, I will also add that when I'm doing my creaming and my sugar. But for you guys at home, we're gonna do this the right way. We're gonna add it when we do those eggs. So while that's going, we're gonna mix all of our dry ingredients. So we have that wonderful, beautiful dark cocoa. We have that AP flour, and we have the addition of baking soda. Now in these particular cookies, you're gonna want baking soda because baking powder makes things rise, but we don't want these cookies rising. So we're gonna go in and mix all of those ingredients together, dump it in one bowl, and we're gonna use our whisk, and we're gonna whisk them together until everything is beautifully incorporated. Except, yeah, we're gonna get that done. Even though we have very little of our baking soda left now, but that's okay. We'll add a little bit more in a bit while that's creaming. And it's looking good, babe. No problem. All right. And by the way, when we do go to add our dry ingredients into our wet ingredients, you're gonna wanna turn your mixer off. Again, we don't wanna incorporate air. This is very important. All of these directions are going to be, you'll be able to go to a link, click on it to see the full recipe so you know exactly what I'm talking about. And also you'll be able to go to our YouTube channel and see additional demonstrations about how to make all of our products. All right, so we're on to the final step in the making of our actual dough. So we're gonna go in and mix in our flour mix here, flour and cocoa mix all at one time, not in batches. Mix that, go in and put that in there. And then from there, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that.
And we did replace what I dropped.
Yes, we did. So this guy right here, let me tell you something about him. He is constantly breaking something, guys. Breaking things at home, at work, you name it, he's doing it. Something's rolling. So we have given him a nickname. He is El Destructo with his loved ones because he has destroyed so many things. In fact, I found out just now during the break that he had broken one of my very favorite little doodads that I have on a shelf, and then he hid it for 8 months in our daughter's closet. A little something for you guys. Watch out for your husbands. Anyway, so we're gonna go in and mix that up really good. And you don't want to overmix this. Again, you don't want to overmix your cookie dough. Cookie dough does not need to be mixed for long periods of time because you don't want that incorporation of air. Mix it up until it's just incorporated and everything's coming together. And then we're gonna go on and take that out and get it together. And we're gonna also move on to making our wonderful little homemade filling for this cookie, which is super duper easy. This is actually, we have a lot of great recipes that we do that are really great for you to do with your kids or somebody else. You could do it together as a group activity because they're so easy and they're fun. And especially these giant Oreos, I'm excited. All right, looks good. Looks like we're almost ready.
You're gonna wrap it in plastic wrap?
We are. So what we're gonna do is, you see this big honking box of plastic wrap? This is what we use at the shop. So we're gonna go in and take some of this, and I'm gonna have it ready for him. I'm gonna take some of this out. I'm gonna make sure our cookie dough is nicely wrapped, and we're gonna have it chilling in the refrigerator for at least an hour. Now, generally when I wanna quickly get something cold, what I will do at my shop is I will put it in the freezer. And that really, really quickens up your time and speeds everything up and gets everything ready quicker. And what you can do is, if you want to do that, you'll roll it out a little thinner. Instead of doing what I'm about to do, you can roll it out a little thinner and then put that in the freezer, and it should be ready in like 20 minutes to roll out. All right, how are we looking over here?
Looks looking pretty good. We're ready to package it?
I think so. I think we're ready to do that.
All right.
Great. Let's hope Joe doesn't drop any of the dough. We're gonna see though. Not sure. All right, looking good, babe. All right, now go down in the bottom. Are you sure everything is all?
Yep, it's all good.
All right, looks good. Get out of the way so he can do what he's doing. All right, perfect. So what we're gonna do is, the way we're gonna wrap this is, you're gonna, make sure this is over here. We're gonna take this, sort of flatten it out like that a little bit. Take this, go this way, and take this. And there you go, neatly wrapped. And now we're gonna put this in the refrigerator, and we'll come right back, and what we're gonna be doing is making that nice filling. All right, so now we're back, and we are gonna be making our filling for our giant Oreos. And it's actually very, very simple. So if you actually get a sandwich cookie off of the shelf, it has vegetable shortening in it. Not here. Our filling is gonna have butter, vanilla, and powdered sugar. So this is about to be amazing. So Joe, it's a dump job. Like so many things that we do, super easy. Just put it all together. There we go. And we're just gonna go in and mix that really quick. And she's gonna be ready to roll, and it's gonna be fantastic. But while that's going, we're gonna go on and start, once he gets that going, we're gonna go on and get ready to start rolling out our cookie dough for our giant Oreos. Perfect. Uh-oh.
El Destructo.
El Destructo, guys. I told you.
The proof is in the pudding.
I'm telling you, he will touch something and it will fall apart.
We're gonna leave that right there as evidence.
He's probably responsible for the leaning tower of Pisa.
All right, what am I doing here?
All right, so what we're doing is we're just gonna take our cookie dough. Right, so what we're gonna do first, we have these 2 pieces of parchment paper, guys. So we're gonna take roughly half a pound of the cookie dough, and we're gonna put it in here, and we're gonna use this wonderful French rolling pin. You see that? Not the kind your grandma was using. This one is amazing because it's one solid piece of wood. And so you don't have to worry about that bacteria getting caught up in between those little rolly pieces at the end, and it's way more comfortable to use. So we're gonna pop that in here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop the rest of this in our fridge. We don't want this cooling or warming. So I'm gonna do that real quick, guys. There we go. And now Joe's gonna get going. Now this does take a little work. We're gonna roll it out to 1/4 of an inch thick. And so you're gonna have to put in a little bit of elbow grease for this. You gotta work for it a little bit. Try to roll out as even as possible. My husband seems to be rolling it into an oblong, which is not what we want.
That's why I'm turning it.
Yeah, turn and twist your sheets around as you're rolling it.
Definitely not coming out well.
And it's okay if it's not perfect, guys. Just do it roughly at 1/4 of an inch. You can always go back and use some of your chilled dough that's in the fridge and roll out some more cookies. So no big deal there. All right. You don't want to roll it outside of the parameters of your parchment paper like my husband is about to do. How are we doing over here?
Terribly.
You are not doing terrible. You're doing great. He's doing good. He just is doing it a little bit different than me, the professional, but that's okay. That's why he's my assistant, my amateur. All right.
We're getting there.
Looking good. Well, let's take a look at it and see what he's done. Let's see. All right, looking good, babe. Now that looks like a country, but it's okay. We weren't necessarily going for that, but it works. We're gonna get it done. So it's okay. We're gonna use what we can. We're gonna put that to the side here. So now what we're gonna do is, you see this thing right here? So you're probably wondering, what the heck is that? Is it actually a dough cutter? Well, I don't know, because this actually came with the shop we're currently in. There was equipment there and this was there, and I said, well, I'm gonna use it as a cookie cutter. So you guys can actually get a real cookie cutter pretty much from any online website, and then get a big one, something that's probably about maybe 2 inches wide would be good, and that's what you can use as your cutter. All right.
So I'm dipping it in this flour here to help it along, right?
Actually, make it 4 inches wide, guys. Okay, yeah, you need to go in and dust your cookie cutter with some flour so your dough doesn't stick.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
He moved a little faster than I wanted him to, but that's okay as well. So there we go, that looks pretty good. All right, we're gonna do that, looking good. And give it a little twist when you do that, but just a little twist to make sure it comes out easily. All right, go honey. And we're gonna try to get 4 out of this country of cookie dough. I don't know if we're gonna be able to, but we're gonna give it a go. Let's see what happens.
Nope, looks like it'd be 3.
Oh, wow, we're gonna have 3, guys. let me see if I can get 1 more out of here. Okay, all right guys, it's looking sad. Okay, we got 3. And so we're gonna work with that. And what we'll do during the break, we're gonna have some magic happen and we'll get 1 more. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you how to do this. I want you to take your metal spatula like that. This is a simple little metal spatula, guys. And you're gonna dust it lightly like this because you don't want these sticking. Now first, before we do this, actually, we're gonna take and lift up our parchment paper and we're gonna pull this from around your cookie dough. And you can even dust your fingers in a little bit of flour so it doesn't stick so much to your fingers. There we go. This is working like magic. Okay, our cookies are a tad challenged, but that's all right. We're still gonna make this work. So we're gonna take this parchment paper lined pan. It's just a sheet pan, basic sheet pan you can get anywhere. And you're gonna put that on there. All right, not bad. And if your cookie gets a little bit warped around the edges, guys, don't worry about it. Just take your finger and reshape it. This is not rocket science. It's okay if things aren't perfect at all times. Again, I'm always gonna say to you, I'm a Virgo. If I'm telling you, it's okay. All right, we love perfection, our zodiac sign. All right, so there we go. We're gonna turn that, and we're gonna go like this. We got a tiny bit out of shape, but that's all right. And there we go. So we're gonna just use the 2 perfect ones we have, which is fine. And we're gonna pop these in the oven. So this is gonna bake at 325 degrees for 15 minutes. Now I'm using a convection oven. The timing might be a little different for yours if you have a conventional oven. So we're gonna pop this in and get it on. All right guys, so we're back and we're gonna be making our second delicious cookie of the day. which is called a monster cookie. And by the way, guys, it's naturally gluten-free. You're gonna love it. All right, so Joe, first up, we're gonna go on and put in our different sugars. We have a cup of brown sugar here. We have a cup of regular sugar. And we also have our butter, which is 4 ounces. And we have our peanut butter. We're gonna put all of those things in there together. And that is perfect. And then we're also gonna dump our vanilla in there with it as well this time around. We're gonna make this all nice and quick. It's a really easy, quick thing to make and very tasty. So perfect. And we're gonna do the usual with this cookie. We're just gonna mix it until all those ingredients are nicely incorporated here and fluffy. And then we're gonna mix everything else in there. It's gonna be really cool.
Do we need the...
No, we're not gonna mix that in yet. We're gonna actually mix this baking soda in here when we put in the oatmeal. Super easy. All right, perfect. So we're gonna let that go for a little bit. Perfect, good. And this is all gonna be great. So when we do go to put these cookies on the sheet, it's gonna be big cookies, just like those Oreos. We're gonna keep going in that same theme. And so each of these cookies is gonna weigh around 3 ounces. So they're gonna be nice big cookies. And they're gonna go in that oven. This is an amazing cookie. This is actually one of my favorite cookies. A customer had come into the shop and asked me to make them for a wedding, actually. And I was like, monster cookies, I've never heard of them. So then when I looked at the recipe, I was like, this sounds delicious. And so I went to make it, and of course I had to taste one. Absolutely loved it. Been a fan ever since. So, yeah, got it all. Peanut butter, chocolate, what more could you need? So how are we looking over here? Looking pretty good. Awesome, you can just scrape that down really quick. And just scrape it down at the bottom like we always do. And then once we do that and let it beat for maybe another 20 seconds, we're just gonna go on and dump in pretty much the rest of our ingredients except for that. We'll put that in last. We wanna fold that into that dough. All right, looking good. Perfect. How we feeling over there, Joe?
Feeling good. Feeling confident.
All right. Are we gonna tear anything up today?
Hopefully not.
My husband always entertains
But
me.
we will see.
Oh my gosh, ridiculous. All right, looking good. I think that's looking good. You can go in and put in your oatmeal and your baking soda there. And as usual, you can find our recipes through our links. And also you can find our merchandise at cupcakefairy.com. That's all K's, no C's. Perfect.
So I'm just dumping?
You're dumping, yup. Dump that in there. Good. Dump that baking soda and dump the eggs. Fantastic, sir. All right. Now we're gonna give that a good mix so all of those ingredients come together. This is actually a really good cookie to make if you have a fundraiser at your school, because then it's a nice gluten-free option. Like, we get a lot of requests up at the shop for gluten-free, vegan, and eggless actually. And so this is a really good option if your school allows peanut butter. Now in North Carolina, which is where we are, a lot of the schools actually don't allow you to put peanut butter in here, but you maybe could substitute that with something like almond, like the almond style peanut butter and things like that. Now that is a test kitchen thing. So do not, don't repeat this because I'm not 100% sure. So if you were to do that, you'd be testing it in your kitchen and you can, in the response, say what kind of results you got. So just letting you know. It looks good, babe.
It's good?
Yeah. And then what you can do is you can take your spatula there and give it one last sort of fold around the sides just to make sure all those ingredients are incorporated in there. And I really don't feel like you need to mix that again. You can just sort of, anything that's not mixed in, you can sort of take your spatula and fold that in. But honestly, it's good to go.
All right.
All right, let's take that. And what we're gonna do now is Joe is gonna take those mini chocolate chips. It's 1 cup of mini chocolate chips and 1/4 cup of plain M&Ms. By contrast, you can also use peanut M&Ms, which honestly, I wish I had known that because I love peanuts and peanut butter. I probably would have used those instead.
All right, so fold it in.
Yeah.
Fold, not jab.
Fold, not jab, baby. That's right. Fold that in there. It's looking good, too. We don't want to attack the dough. All right. Looking good, babe. And just make sure your mini chocolate chips are nicely incorporated throughout your dough. You don't want them all condensed in one area and somebody suddenly has a mouthful of chocolate. Now, some people might like that, but I like my things a little bit more evenly dispersed in my batters and in my doughs. All right. Looks good, darling. I think we're good. Yeah.
All right.
So now what we're gonna do is, now you can, some of you guys might not have a ice cream scoop at the house, but we're very undisciplined people. We have lots of ice cream scoops. We love ice cream. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our ice cream scoop and we're gonna take roughly a golf ball size of cookie dough and we're gonna put that on there. And if you want, you can have a second spoon. If you don't have one of those ice cream scoops that has the little clicker thing where you can scoop it out, ours is not like that. And you need a sticking, you can just take a spoon and sort of get the rest of it out. But you see the rough size, we're gonna do about 4 cookies here. Perfect. You see what I'm talking about? It's stuck. Oh. My husband left some in there, look at that. What he's doing. He's leaving all our delicious cookie dough behind. What are you doing, sir? All right, look at that. Perfect. And space these roughly about, on your sheet pan, about 2 inches apart. You don't want them spreading into each other. Looks good, honey. All right. All right, he decided to add extra. I'm not sure where that came from.
Well, those are that's smaller than that one.
He's
so
improvising, guys.
I'm trying to,
all right, looks good.
I understand the assignment. Get them even.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. All right, well, that looks.
There you go.
I think we're good. So we're going to put these in the oven and we're going to come back. All right, guys, we're back to our very delicious episode with our monster cookies, which are naturally gluten-free, and our giant Oreos, which we have here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go on and take these giant Oreos and we're just gonna use a knife. You know what I'm saying? Really put as much or as little frosting in there as you want. Joe is, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess they are gonna be overstuffed giant Oreos. So we're just gonna put that on there. That's right, use our knife and just smooth it on there. And we're gonna turn it into a nice little sandwich cookie. Perfect.
Yes.
Yes, you can maybe even that out a tad bit on one side. It would be fantastic.
I was gonna squish it.
You're gonna squish it? Okay, he's gonna squish it, guys. Apparently that's a cooking term. Squish. All right, perfect. Look at this, this is awesome. All right, we're gonna take our first cookie here, which has been smushed. Guys, this looks so good. Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Okay, perfect. We'll take our second one. Yes. You know, that almost, you know, it's so big and it has so much frosting in there. It almost looks like a whoopie pie, doesn't it, guys? Oh my goodness.
All right, I'm gonna bite this one, so you're not getting this one. I haven't had them yet.
He's biting it, guys. Well, I want to taste it too. How about that? How is it? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you're not getting it from me.
Awesome. It's really good. You're gonna love it. I have no doubt in my mind. Wow. That is a good cookie. So we got our monster cookies. We got our absolutely delicious giant Oreo cookies. And on the back end, if you go to our website or to our YouTube, you can find a bonus recipe for snickerdoodle cookies. It's a great recipe. You'll love it. But here we have it, guys. We're all done. Monster cookie, giant Oreo, delicious. Try it at home.